Bonjour my YouTube, Trev here, Summit or Nothing. Today I'm going to be discussing my top 5 favourite hikes of 2020. I will put links to all the videos in the video description, but they'll also pop up here. If you are new to Summit or Nothing, make sure you do subscribe for plenty more hiking videos, budget gear reviews and wild camping content. Anyway, I'm going to look back now at my top 5 walks. Right, number 5 is a video that I called 10 Tours in 10 Miles. Great links, looking awesome from this angle. I always say it looks like a battleship. It does though, doesn't it? Here we are now, Hunt Tour. Another one I've not seen. Let's have a look. It's alright, isn't it? Still another little one, but it'll do. Bagged, as they say. It was one of the first walks of the year that I'd actually driven to, even though it was still local. I hadn't walked there from my front door, so it was nice to get to a bit further afield. It was a beautiful day. It was still the end of this amazing spring. We had a really good spring and summer when we was all not allowed to go out. Some of the best weather we've had for years. Now this started up at Sawton, and then I took in quite a few little obscure tours that I'd never seen before, like Gren Tour and Hunt Tour, Stenger Tour, and then visited some of the tours that I'd visited before with Nath, Kitty Tour, Great Links Tour, as well as the Bleak House Ruins. But all this marshy ground, which is probably really hard going in the winter, all this boggy ground was just solid as a rock. It was nice walking. It was a nice day, nice little circular walk, and the views were great. Number 4, Fingal Bridge. Now, Dartmoor, once again, was a little walk that I followed out of my little guidebooks, leaflet things that I've had for ages and not used. And it started off at Drew Stainton, quaint little Dartmoor village, and then I walked out onto the Tin Valley. You're used to Dartmoor videos, then you're used to seeing all these sort of bleak, arid landscapes, granite tours, open marshland. What you're not used to seeing is this valley of woodland and trees. Long way down. Not many views like this in Dartmoor that I've seen so far anyway. This is beautiful. There's Castle Drogo coming in over there. And it was a real dusty day. I had this dusty path to follow, and so it took me underneath Castle Drogo. But to look across this valley, all these trees, it was absolutely stunning. It felt like you was in the Mediterranean. I couldn't believe that it was Dartmoor, really. It was absolutely stunning. A really nice walk. And then once I walked along the top, then it was a case of walking down into the valley and coming back up beside the river. Another really tranquil stretch. Just a beautiful day. Ended up at Fingal Bridge, which is a sort of a beauty spot, so it got a bit busier there. Oh, that is stunning. It's beautiful all the way back to Castle Drogo. You can see the path that we took underneath it. So we've walked all that today, and then back in around, weaving in around these trees by the river. Summit, isn't it? We're not done yet. Still going. The second half of the day, I ended up following the rest of this walk, and it was pretty sort of thankless, to be honest. Ended up on the roads, so I could have cut out the second half of the walk, but certainly the first half of that walk was stunning. Here we go, Hunter's Path, Drew Stainton. Yes please. Number 3, Dartmoor once again, a video that I called Remotest Dartmoor. Basically, I got up really early, got up before the sunrise, got up onto the moors, started sort of just beneath Round Tor and headed out over towards Belstone Tor as the sun was rising. Really beautiful. From there I walked past Oak Tor over to Steeperton Tor, which was always Nafe's favourite tour. It was absolutely stunning up there. The views back across to Belstone over that valley just took my breath away. Then I took in some tours that I'd not seen before, Wild Tor and the incredible Watton Tor. Just a really amazing granite tour, these sort of strange, almost sail-like pancake rocks. I don't know how else to describe it, but really interesting rock patterns. And then from there I went up to Hangingstone Hill and then back in along the tracks, taking in East Mill Tor before heading back home. It's quite a long walk and it was real remote. You felt like you was out in the middle of nowhere on your own. Just a real nice sense of adventure. Absolutely astonishing views and great tours. And then a few weeks later I took some of my patrons up to that very same spot, and we done much of that walk again because it was such a great area, and I managed to share it with some of my patrons. Where we are, top of East Mill Tor. 3, 2, 1. Summit or nothing! Number 2, a video that I called Back to the Coast, which was a 24-mile circular walk out around Poole Point, South Devon. Lovely stretch. Oh wow, that looks absolutely beautiful. The sea looks blue, green hills there, really sort of mountainous looking hills as well, and being capped off by the weather. That is a picture, isn't it? Amazing. Another thing I've missed since I've been away from the coast is all the variety of coastal birds. I just love the coast. This walk was my first time on the coast path in this year. It's early summer by the time I got out there. I started the walk at Tor Cross and took in the memorial of the Sherman tank that was recovered from a terrible tragedy that happened during the D-Day training, where 700 US soldiers lost their lives. But then it was a case of getting onto the coast path. It started off really wet, wetter than I'd expected, and I got soaked right through. Well, that wasn't just a little bit of rain, that was a downpour, and I'm soaked. Nothing mentioned about rain. Printed out a map for the roads, well that's just soaked, it's ruined. But sort of after I passed the lighthouse out at Start Point, then the weather sort of changed, and by the time I was at the mountainous sort of cliff tops around Gammon Head, it was an absolutely stunning day. Gammon Head? That's what they used to call me in school. And the coast path was just a beautiful stretch of sandy beaches and rocky, jagged cliffs. It was a bit of everything really. It reminded me quite a lot of some of the North Devon stretch between Combe Martin and Braunton, Mort Point, places like that. So it was a nice walk, and I sort of almost made it up to Salcombe, and then ended up having to cut in back along the roads. So it ended up being a 24-mile circular walk to get back to Tor Cross to finish up. Sorry, did I say this was 5 miles on the road? It's 7 actually, and I've just checked about a mile on from where I said it was 5, so it's probably about 8. And my favourite hike of the year, I think for reasons that are completely apparent, was my Dartmoor in a day. I started up at Oakhampton Camp at about 5 o'clock in the morning, and I walked for 33 miles to end up in Ivybridge. It's a really interesting looking clouds, the sun rising. Well, there's like these dark rain clouds about, but look out across here now, you see it all lighting up gold across there. It's nice. Right, we're coming up under Routhall now, onto the moor proper from here. Now this not only was an experience that I was glad to take part in, but it also raised some really serious money for hospice care. There's still an open live link to hospice care now, so during these times I'm sure they can still do with all the money that they can. So there's a link below if you do feel like donating any money towards hospice care, then yeah, please scroll down, just donate what you can. Every little helps. It'd be good to help them out still. Some of the route I'd walked at different times, there was a big sort of stretch in the middle that I hadn't ever set foot on. We're walking at quite a speed at the moment. It's not too bad terrain, not too bad underfoot. The mist and clouds haven't come in yet, and this is all new territory for me. So quite a lot of the 365 will be crossed off today. The beauty of this walk was, because I was so close to the start, I could sort of pick and choose the day I went, so I was keeping an eye on the weather, and as I started training for it, the weather turned. I'd done some horrendous training walks in the mist and the rain and the wind. It looked like the conditions was going to change, and I was just worried that I didn't want to go out there in the mist, make a long walk even longer by having to find my way and wade through the bog and sort of crossing rivers and things, you know. It's all things you've got to bear in mind when you go across Dartmoor. I made it thus far. I didn't film the jump, but I just leapt. It was a hell of a leap. You wouldn't believe the leap that I did. It was like an action film. Oh yes! It was like Mel Gibson. That's how current I am with my action films. But I actually waited for the right time, and I was really surprised at how well pathed the majority of that track was, and how solid the ground was as well. Well, there's the way forward. Looks daunting from here. This morning we seem to be ploughing through the miles, but they don't seem to be moving very fast at the moment. I don't want to stop. I'm scared. Don't want to have time to get through. So I managed to get through by 7. I turned up at Ivybridge that night. I wasn't that knackered. I'd done a lot of training in the weeks leading up to it. I thought I was going to pay for it the next day. Actually, the next day I felt great, and yeah, I really surprised myself at how easy I had found such a challenging walk. It's opened up the possibilities of a lot more walks this year, so I'm going to try and do some multi-day hikes, try and really cover some ground of the South West Coast Path. But yeah, that was my top 5 hikes from 2020. Thanks for watching. Cheers.